Just coming up through Helensburgh, and there are some beautiful properties around here. It certainly doesn't look like the kind of place where you'd be if you were really struggling to make a living. It's certainly got some nice parts to it. So still climbing up this road. We're heading towards the hill house now, which is towards the top of this road that we're on now, and this is the road that leads straight up through Helensburgh. You do have to do like a little dog leg, because the other station in Helensburgh Upper, stops you on that road basically, so you have to sort of go around it, but it's no big deal. It's really easy. Notice here there's no footpaths, it's just the road and then grass either side, and everything looks so well manicured. So yeah, it's a lovely area, Helensburgh, really nice. So when I got here this morning, it was very grey, very overcast, started to rain a little bit, and it looked like we were generally in for bad weather, even though I knew the weather was supposed to be clearing up a little bit later on. But the sun started to try and come out. The trail, you can see, is pretty muddy. Obviously I had a lot of rain lately. I put trail shoes on for this, so I don't think I'm going to keep dry feet for that long, but we'll see how we go. Just where you're walking along the John Muir Way there, you come off that road, you're walking on that road for a little bit. And if you come off this little path here, come up here, takes you to this. Otherwise you'd never see it from the road. So looking back, that's Helensburgh, where we've just come up from. I'm just looking behind now as this sign if you're driving into it. And now, a bit of signage for this walk. You see it coming out of Helensburgh and all the way up. The signage so far has been very, very good. That little fishing point I showed you, you can actually see it when you get a bit higher on the road, because the road's elevated. When you get a bit further up, you can actually see it. So we're starting to get a little bit of forestry now. Still really good signage throughout. So right at the start of the official trail, there is a water point where you can put bottles under and it'll just fill your water for free. But if you forget that, there are a few water sources along as you can see here. So once you get off the main road, a lot of the path is like this forestry path. So I've just seen a truck coming down, loading up with loads of logs and stuff. But this path is nice. It's nice and soft on your feet without it being soft and boggy. I mean, you look at that. What would you say around that? Oh, that. No contest, is there? This is the viewing point, one of the viewing points on the way from Helensburgh to Ballock. Okay, so update, the path that is supposed to take you from Helensburgh, this kind of path that we're on now, is supposed to take you from Helensburgh to Ballock. Further down that way, I'm now walking back, completely blocked by fallen trees. I'm not averse to climbing over trees, but I've tried for about 15-20 minutes to get through. Couldn't get through, just tree after tree, couldn't even see the path. You tried climbing higher up to see if there's another way around. There was nothing, so I'm going to have to try and find another way around. I might even have to backtrack all the way back and maybe take the cycle route or something like that. But major problem really. So at the moment there's no way I'm going to get through to Ballock on this particular path that the trail leads to. So this is Cameron House that you're looking at now, and that looks down over the water. Even a seaplane name. Okay, so end of day one. So we started off Helensburgh Central Station there, went down there to the start of the walk and came back up past the Hill House, carried on the walk up here, and that's where the cyclists go off and the walkers carry on a slightly different trail. So we went up here, absolutely fine, along here, until we got down to somewhere like down here, only to find the trail was absolutely totally obstructed with fallen trees. The trail itself, the path had fallen away and eroded, and there was just tree after tree after tree. There's no way you could get across them. I spent about half an hour trying to climb over trees and stuff, and it was just totally impossible. You're slipping and sliding all over the place. There's just no way you could do it. So in the end, I come back up here and thought, do I have options now? Do I go down here and try and work my way back towards Helensburgh, or try and get a taxi from somewhere to take me through to Ballock, the next town? And then I thought, no, it might be better to come back up here and take the cyclist route and follow the route that the cyclists take, although that you can see that does put you out a little bit. As I'm walking my way back, I come across a police 4x4, and I got chatting to the police officer, and he said to me, well, we're leaving in a few minutes. He said, I will take you closer to Ballock if you want. He said, it's no problem. He said, and then you can walk the rest of the way. He said, and it won't take you that long to get to Ballock. So I thought, well, that's really, really kind of you. So he dropped me off
and I walked down here into Ballock. When I got to Ballock, time was cracking on. It was sort of 4ish by the time I walked around Ballock a little bit, and I thought, well, what do I do? Do I carry on? Got a couple of hours daylight. I don't know what the lay of the land is here, how many wild camping options are going to be early on. So I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to get a B&B. So that's what I did, and I'm virtually ready for, as soon as I open the door tomorrow, I'm back on the trail. The trail is literally in front of me. So we'll carry on tomorrow, and that's where we got today.
Okay, day 2, just left. It's a pretty rainy day now. There is Ballock behind me. There's the little marina there. Well, it's actually the River Leven. This is the River Leven that runs along here. And we're carrying on up this path now. So this is the route that we're taking up here. So just come up here, it's time for the John Muir Trail, and then we are taking a right at this point and going up through the Kilpatrick Hills. So we're currently going through an area called the Kilpatrick Hills, and to be honest, it's not really till I got well out of Ballock and up to this area that I've started to find wild camping spots really. So if I'd have carried on through Ballock last night and thought, oh, don't get a B&B there, just carry on and find somewhere to camp, by the time I got up here, it would have really been pitch black. I'd have been walking around with the head torch on trying to find places. So it's probably just as well, probably the right decision really to stay where I stayed last night. Reservoir coming up out of the Kilpatrick Hills. So the John Muir Way briefly shares part of the route with the West Highland Way, and if I spin you around there, you'll recognise probably this part of the West Highland Way. This is the top of a windy and miserable bar hill. It's set out these old ruins, so you can see what would have actually gone where. Probably not the best time to appreciate Castle Hill at 6:30 on a wet, cold morning. Right, so we've just come from down there, across that bridge, and then we've come down here onto yet another canal. Welcome to Bonnie Bridge. This is the Falkirk Wheel. Allowing canal boats to go from one canal to another. Right, so day 3 turned out to be a very short day really. So we came out from Kirkintilloch and we carried on along here up to Tweechar and then you up to Bar Hill. That was terrible in the wet because you were slipping and sliding and all over the place. The same up here with Croy Fort. Fell over more times than I got up, or it felt that way. Going along here, and we were doing along here. You seem to spend so much of your time walking alongside canals on this one. This is the Forth and Clyde Canal, and you're walking alongside this for ages and ages. And the rain, it started raining just as I put the tent down, so it started raining. I was putting the tent down, getting ready to go. This was like approaching 5:30 in the morning. I got up from 4 and not really slept at all last night. And it was just relentless, the rain. It wasn't super heavy or torrential, but it was just constant. So we went along here, Rough Castle Fort, and then the Falkirk Wheel, and then going down here, along here, and then I think I came down this road more or less, and then picked up the Union Canal there and got to here where it joins. And then from here I was really cold, and some of my stuff, not everything was wet, but some of my stuff was wet. It was really, really cold, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to see, can I get somewhere in Falkirk? And that's what I did. I thought, why not? So that's where we are right now. Morning. So this is day 4 now, starting to show. So weather nice, sun's up, not like yesterday, and I had to start trying to learn to be kind to myself on these walks a little bit. Normally I'm head down and trying to make distance, and this walk sort of teaching me to take my time a little bit more and have no shame about getting a cheap hotel or finishing the walk for that day a bit earlier than I normally would, and I think that's a good thing really. I think we can be too hard on ourselves really, so you always think that you've got to make a certain distance by a certain time. Okay, so we're now in Bowness, only on the fringes of it, like, but we're getting to up to the coast. This is the coast of Bowness. Along now, this path touching the coast of it, and in that direction we're further going into Bowness. Very windy day. Leaving Bowness now and heading for Blackness. Rainy, very rainy. Just left Blackness Castle on a little trail now, going through a wood. It's periodically trying to bring the sun out, so every so often the sun comes out, but then it lasts about 5 or 10 minutes and then starts raining again. So I'm not even risking taking a waterproof off yet. Right, so day 4, this morning on day 4, we had stayed at Falkirk, we come out of Falkirk, we carried on down here. This is interesting, going over the Avon Aqueduct, to be walking over that, it's interesting. And I came up here through Linthcote Bridge, up here, down into Bowness. When we got here into Bowness, it was really windy, because you were getting all the wind coming off the sea. Very blustery, very wet. It started raining this morning. It was supposed to be a nice day, but it started raining this morning, and then the only times you get a break in the rain would be for literally 5 minutes, and then we go back to raining. So rain was a bit heavier than yesterday, but just more of it persistent than any other kind of problem really. So we carried on from Bowness, coming down here into Blackness, past Blackness Castle, along here into South Queensferry. And I've stopped in South Queensferry because that's the place I wanted to stop at anyway really. I planned to stay the night in South Queensferry. There's no camping in South Queensferry, so again it had to be a hotel. After tonight, I'm hoping to get back to campsites then for the remainder of the walk, or while camping, whatever's easiest basically. And that's where we are now, so that's it. Okay, it's just gone 6 and we're leaving South Queensferry now. That there, straight ahead, is Crammon Island. So I've just this second walked past the Miller and Carter pub. I thought, oh, that'll be great, I'll get some breakfast there. It's shut. Just coming up this hill now. This is Corsavine Hill Nature Reserve, and we're continuing on this path. Okay, just leaving Edinburgh now, and we've come into this park, and immediately it's a lot quieter than it was down there on the outskirts of the city. Look at this as soon as you get out of Edinburgh. Okay, just arrived in Musselburgh. So you can see we're going to be in for a blustery night. Musselburgh. Okay, so you can't really see much because it's gone dark now, and I am tucked away in my little tent. Big push today from South Queensferry to Musselburgh. Now camped at Dunbar campsite. And when I first got here, I just could not get warm at all. After such a long trek and not had much to eat at all today. And it wasn't until I had something to eat that I actually started to warm up a little bit. But we're just in the tent now, and that's it really. So I'll see what tomorrow brings for me. Okay. Okay, looking back, that's Preston Pan, as you can see there. We've just left that, and we are now taking this route back onto the coast. I should say. This is a place called Cockenzie that I'm just coming into now. I'm just panning around to the way I've come down there from the coast. Port Seton Harbour. Look at that, right on the front. It's a pity it's too early, it's only 10 o'clock. Fish and chips. I'm carrying on that way. Yeah, look at all these left here, and originally put here to stock tanks. Loads of them. So I'm walking along quite a longish stretch of road now towards a place called Durleton. That's the next little town I'm going to hit. Eventually trying to get towards North Berwick. This walk, I've got to say, it's brutal. But it's brutal for just a reason that you wouldn't expect really. I watched a few videos before I did this walk, like a lot of people do. One was by a girl, she's got a channel called Muddy Bootlaces. And she said it's brutal because of the amount of tarmac on it. And I'll spin you around a sec. You're walking on a lot of this stuff, a lot of it. I know you do walks and there's always some road walking, you think there's not much to it, but the amount of, it's not necessarily road walking, it's just hard paths. Even when you're going up through a lot of the off-road stuff, the paths are hard, and sometimes very often they've been tarmac paths, so it can be very, very hard going on your feet and your joints, and it is worth taking into consideration if you do this walk. Morning. It's about 5:45 and we're on our way, or I'm on my way, to East Linton, which is around about 5 miles away from here. It's a cold morning, so we'll get going. This little area we're coming through now is called Eastwood. I'm sure it's no relation to Clint. Sun's come up and this should take us more or less through to East Linton. Some dark skies. I'm wondering if we're going to get rain. It is forecast for later on, and I'm wondering if that later on is going to be a bit earlier than forecast. Now, Dunbar, and I'm now going to head into the official finish, which is the John Muir Museum. Okay, so there we are. This is the official end of the trail. This is John Muir's house, which is now a museum, but it's closed on a Monday. Yeah, we're on a Monday, so there you have it. So after this, it's off to the train station to try and find trains home. Okay, welcome folks. So final thoughts on the John Muir Way. Now, I used this guidebook by two ladies, Sandra Bardwell and Jaquita Megary. Good little guidebook, and what's nice about it, it gives you maps that you can follow and use throughout the route. It gives you a good guide, good little guidebook that. So I carried that with me, and I also used the Hiker app. If you don't know what a Hiker app is, have a look. Really good app. It covers loads and loads of walks, and between those two, really good. Not that I really needed them that much, because signposting for this is very good. Obviously, when they've originally put the John Muir Way together, they've spent money and time doing it and done a really good job of it. So that was a very good thing, really, that it's an easy to follow route. Now, it is a fairly flat route. You're going generally through sort of the middle belt of Scotland, from Helensburgh through to Dunbar, through the middle belt, but there are climbs and things. I took walking poles Put them in my bag, and I never took them out my bag, okay? So I would say that you don't need walking poles for this, but don't assume that's because it's completely and utterly flat from one start point to the finish, because it isn't. So if you're somebody that likes walking poles, then don't leave them at home, because you're going to have some days where you're going day after day after day, and if you start to get tired and things, then walking poles can't help. So it's very much a personal thing with walking poles. A bit like footwear. So I use these, the Ultralone Peak 5s. I know we're on about 7s now, but I use these. I knew it was going to be fairly hard surfaces, so I swapped out the insoles to make them a bit more cushionable, but still, it's heavy going. So whether you use those or traditional boots, bear in mind you're going to be walking on a lot of hard surfaces during this walk, okay? And because of the length of it, 134 miles, you're talking several days, aren't you? Let's be honest, for anyone. So bear that in mind. If you've got a problem that kicks off if you're on too much of a hard concrete surface, then bear that in mind with this walk. But other than that, my advice would be, yeah, it's a good walk. There's lots to do. It's not like your normal backpacking route, really, because it's more at that lower level. You're going in and out of a lot of towns rather than small little hamlets that you might see on some walks. So it's open to a lot of excursions and things like that. So bear all that in mind. Try and pick your season. The weather was not great for me. You always get this if you go in March, because it's very undecided. I had good weather in Scotland in March, and I've had bad weather in Scotland in March. It's just hit and miss, isn't it? But it was windy, it was cold most days. Try and pick it more as a summer route if you're going to do it, and give yourself plenty of time for excursions. And if you do that, I'm sure you'll enjoy John Muir Way.